I didn't think the moment I said, I want to move out for college, would turn into one of the most terrifying nights of my life. But it did. Have you ever realized all at once that the people who are supposed to love you are actually rooting for you to break? It started when I finally told my mom I wanted to move out. I wasn't dramatic about it. I didn't yell. I just said it. And she absolutely lost it. She started bawling, screaming that I didn't love her, that I was abandoning her, that after everything she'd done for me, I was just going to leave. It was loud. It was unhinged. I stood there frozen, while she cried like I'd just killed her. My sister walked in and asked what was going on. My mom didn't even let me speak. She screamed. She says she doesn't love me and wants to move away. That was all it took. My sister pulled out her phone, looked straight at me, and later, completely unprovoked, sent me a message I will never forget. She called me dumb, said she hated me, called me trash, told me she was glad I'd been assaulted before, said no one loved me and no one ever would. She told me my boyfriend leaving proved that no one cared. Then she crossed a line I didn't know could be crossed. She told me she knew I'd been feeling like I didn't want to be alive anymore and that I should just go ahead and do it. That no one would care. She ended it by saying she hoped I'd be assaulted again, but she should stop talking before I called the cops like I used to when we were kids. When I read it, I just broke. I started crying right there. And when my mom saw me crying, she laughed. Actually laughed. She called my sister hilarious and told me I was going nowhere. Then she walked away like it was nothing. I wanted to leave immediately. I didn't even know where I'd go. I tried to calm myself down, tried to think, but then my sister came back into the room. She had this smug look, like she'd won something. She stood in front of me and just stared. "What's wrong?" she asked, fake concern dripping from every word. "Did I hurt your feelings?" She didn't wait for an answer. She told me I didn't have any feelings anyway, that I was an empty shell, that I thought everyone owed me something. I stayed silent because I didn't trust myself to speak. If I opened my mouth, I knew I'd either scream or cry again, and I refused to give her that satisfaction. She leaned in closer, called me a pathetic little crybaby, said no wonder no one wanted me around. Then she stepped behind me and flicked the back of my head. I stumbled forward and she laughed. "Oops," she said mockingly. "Didn't see you there." I just stood there, fists clenched, trapped. Then she leaned in again, her breath right in my ear, and whispered that I should do everyone a favor and disappear, that it would help all of them. I closed my eyes and wished I could melt into the floor, be anywhere else. She laughed one last time, called me a coward, and walked away. My head throbbed where she'd hit me, but it was nothing compared to the weight in my chest. That night, I locked myself in my room. I knew I couldn't stay in that house. It felt like a nightmare I couldn't wake up from. I sat on my bed staring at the wall, trying to figure out how to escape. I couldn't just walk out, they'd stop me. So I made a plan. First thing I did was screenshot every message my sister had ever sent me. Every insult. Every threat. It felt wrong, like I was building a case against my own family, but they left me no choice. I backed everything up to my email. Then I packed. Quietly. Clothes. My laptop. A few books. About $300 I'd saved from my part-time job. My heart was pounding like I was committing a crime, but I kept telling myself, I have to do this. Just as I zipped the bag, I heard footsteps. The doorknob rattled. I'd forgotten to unlock it. "Open the door," my mom snapped. I did. She took one look at the bag and knew. She demanded to know what I was doing. I lied. I said I was just packing for college. She didn't believe me. She stepped inches from my face and told me I wasn't going anywhere, that I belonged there. So I apologized. I hated myself for it, but I knew if I didn't, she'd make everything worse. Eventually she left, slamming the door behind her. I finished packing with shaking hands. I wasn't going to let them destroy me. I didn't know how yet, but I was leaving. I secretly contacted an acquaintance whose family knew mine. They offered to take me in if I didn't tell anyone where I was staying. That was the plan. Update 1. I was on my way to a domestic violence shelter. The family backed out. They said my mom was too scary when she was angry, and they were afraid she'd come after them. I was devastated. The night I left, my mom saw me walking out. She threw a vase at me, threatened my life. I didn't even have time to shower. I looked and smelled awful. I was terrified. Update 2. I was at the ER getting my medication. The shelter paid for it. I felt embarrassed, like I was being judged, but the shelter itself was peaceful. No yelling. No fear when I went to sleep. I had 30 days. Just 30. I thought, how could anything good happen in 30 days? But it did. Update 3. Nearly 3 years later, I reread those posts and just want to hug my younger self. The shelter was brand new. Safe. There were other women there, and they treated me like a little sister. They helped me with interviews. We cooked together. We went to therapy. A church group brought us handmade quilts. I still have mine. I sleep with it sometimes and remember how far I've come. I found a better paying job. I rented a room. I went back to school at a new place for a fresh start. I told my story in my application essay. I graduated. My sister said I'd never be anything. She was wrong. I have stability now. I got engaged to a man who treats me with kindness I didn't know existed. His family tells me I'm theirs. When I got sick recently, he left the house at 2 a.m. to take care of me without me even asking. I'm still learning that love doesn't hurt. I buy myself flowers every week. I rest when I'm sick. I protect my peace. I learned to value myself because no one else did, and that changed everything. Back then, I truly thought I wouldn't survive those 30 days. I was hopeless. I had no idea life could turn out like this. If you were in my place, what would you have done? And if you've ever escaped something like this, tell me your story. I really want to hear it.